also, but I don't have any.
You're a liar. You have something.
All I have is popcorn downstairs.
That counts.
No, it doesn't.
It counts. It's food.
I'm not
You
walking
said
downstairs.
absolutely nothing. That is not absolutely nothing.
Anyways, Esper can starve in silence.
Me? Silent? Never.
That's true. So, a few announcements before we get started. First of all, welcome to the new server. This is a community D&D server. I hope by proxy, Esper's hopes for this is that this be a main hub for anything that we all do together as friends and as companions in all of this journey going forward. So one of my personal goals for this is to have other people take up the DM mantle as well and want to start doing some of their own games. Either one shots that you want us to get started or planned, or perhaps maybe even short, small campaigns that may last 4 or 5 sessions. I definitely encourage you all for that. I've been talking to a few of you regarding a few one-shots, but if you all are interested in taking up that mantle, aside from Esper and myself, by all means, communicate with us, and we'll get you set. This is technically a D&D based Discord server with some Final Fantasy XIV stuff mixed in. So if you're interested in joining other channels, you can just hit those little emotes in the welcome screen and you'll be ushered into a whole bunch of other pings.
Also, if you want private voice channel room, just let me or Ray know. We'll make you one. You can have full permissions on it and invite other people, set a password, change the name, whatever, just to enjoy the higher bitrate or just have somewhere to chat that's not a direct call. That'll be more reliable than a direct.
Yeah, that's always fun. Discord now has streaming services available. So if you all are wanting to stream with your games or do stuff via Discord, you can stream a lot more effectively via voice channels as opposed to personal DMs now. So you can do sharing your streams with 4 or 5 people all in your little chat. You might need to update your Discord to do it, but it's a feature now. Of course, pardon some of the maintenance going on, because since this is a new server, we're still configuring some of the bots and some of the permissions. I had to do a bit of that, but let us know if there's problems. We'll fix it. Of course, all your personal stuff from the Dreams of Azure Discord server has been moved over to this server. It should be the very, very, very scrolling down portions in the Dreams Personals category for you. The only people who have access to that are you, myself, and by proxy Esper, but Esper has all of that muted, and he'd be a shitty person if he were to look at any of that kind of stuff, and vice versa for me.
Yeah, we made a separate section for Briar and Finnis, Ray's character in my game, so I just have the dreams where all your stuff is minimized and muted. Promise, I swear I won't look at it, and I have not.
Correct. But if you feel that you need to keep your personal notes someplace else, you still have access to your Dreams server personal notes. But again, I would probably emphasize that you all use this server and prioritize this server more than the other one for the while being, just because it's just a transitional process. But again, trust us, we're not gonna ruin our own experiences, and nobody here metagames. At least I hope not. Other than that, that's about all I really have. Chapter 2 is well in the swing of things. I anticipate this chapter will probably be about maybe 10 sessions long.
All right, everything decides wants. Let's see if this is going to work again.
Prepared for that stuff, that fun when that happens. Okay, so that's all I got. So I got everyone here, and that we're alive, and everything else is going. We can go ahead and get this started.
Doesn't seem reliable right now. Everything keeps crashing.
That's strange.
Chrome's crashed twice now, and so has Discord. And there goes Twitch. And I don't know why.
Doesn't even matter how hard I try.
Keep that in mind. I designed this rhyme to explain a few times.
All I know.
Oh my god.
I'm only doing it because we're not streaming right now. Thank you very much, Zalgus.
Welcome.
And thank you, Allison, for getting that reference and face palming.
I think everyone got that reference. I just chose not to respond.
Right. As long as you felt it deep down in your loins.
I thought about disconnecting you from the server for a second.
Wow.
I have that power now.
Wow.
Sorry, I can't hear any of you.
All that college has gone to her brain.
Wow, yeah, college of all of like 2 days.
Alright, if I can keep everything stable for a fucking while, maybe we can actually get this thing going.
It's just buffering. It's all it is.
No, it's not buffering, it's fucking dying.
It's calibrating. Alright, well, anyways, let's get this going. Bleh. Upon rendezvousing back in the hut, you were given in exchange for your assistance into alleviating the village from its grasp of a demonic lord. You began discussing your next course of actions, as well as what information you have uncovered thus far. Stashing the corpse of a man with lycanthropic powers, you begin to prepare for a rest to recover from the previous events and start to surmise the involvements of Bingen. As he seemingly deceived you into encountering the 3 werewolves you fought before, and knowing now that he has an extensive history of the village and its prior devotion, he seemed to be the likely candidate for corruption and conspiring. It wasn't until most of you dozed off, however, that Zalgus caught vision of something in the distance outside of the hut. He took to the shadows and followed the source until he saw Bingen himself, struggling with the barricaded door to the hut of the afflicted. Discussion began as he explained himself and his intentions, all the while the cursed canopies began continuing to ooze acidic mucus to the grounds around you. Time was becoming a factor, it seemed. Using Zakari's horn to awaken him and the others, Zalgus collected everyone together again to assess Bingen's story and innocence. After some investigation within his quarters and finding a strange book that seemed to reference the language of the Azure, you deemed that the only way to end the curse upon the village was to confront the statue itself, ridding it of its power. To prepare, you returned to the hut for Clara to craft an explosive powerful enough to destroy Groth's statue, and for everyone to finish rejuvenating. Talking is hard. Only to find that the body of the werewolf had gone missing sometime while you all were out. Hours once again transpire as you all begin to rouse from your rest. You begin to make for the statue. Clara, giving the explosive to Zalgus to place in the statue's mouth with the help of his mage hand spell, proved that to maybe not be the wisest of choices. Zalgus, in touching the statue the previous night, almost lost control of himself as Groth attempted to wrest control of him, much like he did Firion previously. Fortunately, with the aid of his goddess, Zalgus shirked the attempt and plunged the bomb into the orifice, leaving Zakari to Eldritch blast it, setting it off with enough force to destroy it entirely. As the dust settled, the only remnants left are the statue's feet. The rest scattered about the area. A short second later, the ground of 4 begins to move as 2 sets of stairs open their way downward into the depths below the village. And as you make your way down, a dim purple light and the echoes of scratching is heard deeper within. Is this the source of all the town's problems, or the beginning of new ones for you? So, as the 6 of you descend down into the underdark of this village, the stone slabs, neatly stacked, one by one, making up the walls into the stone ceiling as you descend down the stairs. A slight purple dim light glancing off of what you see before you, giving off a very hint of vision for all of you. I'd like to know your marching order first and foremost.
I vow to be. Oh, sorry. No one was speaking. Go ahead.
No, you were
Briar
speaking,
would try to
so-
push forward if she could.
Okay, so Briar in front.
I'll be behind Briar.
I'll be second to last.
I think I'll be behind Zalgus.
I guess Furion will be last.
tissue paper wearer, defend the rear.
Can I grab the plate of food my mom brought me really quick?
Yeah, sure. Don't starve.
Thank you. 1 second.
Okay, and that is appropriate marching order for you guys, right?
Correct.
Faith, Faith, is that good for you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. I didn't know if you wanted to prioritize front or back. Wow, no, not like that.
And giggity.
I mean, you were the one that said, "Is it good for him?" So
I feel like you walked into that.
sorry.
That's the point of marching orders, to walk into this.
All right,
I know.
everybody. Nut to butt. Make the guy in front of you smile.
Giggity.
Did you learn that in the military? Did you learn that in the Navy, Jason?
Say again. Yeah, I'm having withdrawal symptoms. Yeah.
Okay. Anyhow, as you all begin to descend down the stairway, crooking past a corner, down another further set of stairs, you descend from the very top of the floor of the village, about 10 feet underground. Though the ceilings above you are about 10 feet above you, as you know the village is directly intermittent between you and the actual statues above. And as you descend down a few more stairs, the ceilings begin to lower and lower, and eventually it's almost against your actual grain of your head. The smell in here is reminiscent of that of kind of like your more, I guess maybe Furion, Briar, and Zalkus would have a bit more familiarity with the smell of it, as it's kind of reminiscent of being in an undersea cavern that has been blocked off from any source of air for a very long period. Kind of this grit and cold, mossy kind of scent prevails your sense. The purple light is stale, it's stagnant, it's unmoving, it's not flickering or anything else. But you get this slight indication that it's gently pulsing, causing...
Sorry, I'm back.
You're good. Causing just hints of brightness, kind of hewing past some of the darker notes.
Just as a note, Furion still has his detect magic on, so is what we're seeing, this purple light, also still glowing, like the ooze above.
Much like above, it's still relatively sickening almost around here. The entire air is stagnant with arcane resources. Only you can really detect that this is some sort of alteration-based, but it's powerful.
Noted.
So, I need for Briar and Zalgus, as you two are the ones leading this presently, to roll perception checks.
$18.
20.
Good rolls. Okay, as you begin to pass by the corner, the hue of the purple light gets stronger, and you begin to see as you pass by to the right that the cavern opens up a bit more. The walls around you seemingly have chips and dents, strikes against it. There's no elements of cobwebs or anything else here dictating that of life. The ceiling begins to open up as you work your way further in, going into a 20-foot height, kind of at a slant as it begins to ascend upwards. And the chamber begins to expand as you see many rooms and hallways throughout this tomb. You're unsure of how large it actually is, but it feels as though as your voices kind of carry in the slight whispers you're giving off to each other, that they seem to resonate and bounce off the walls for a good bit.
Was there a map for this?
There was. I'm not putting you all on it quite yet.
So, creepy tunnels and creepy underground walkway underneath a very creepy statue. The gods really do tend to hate us.
Briar and Zalgus, you also detect hints of scratches. It's faint and distant. You're not sure where exactly the source is from. If it's to the left, the right, or directly in front of you. But it seems to be more than one source. Do you all wish to proceed?
Briar never stops.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep on following behind.
Okay.
You see her head kind of turn towards the side as she's listening, but otherwise says nothing as she's proceeding forward.
But the rest of you, are you all following along the...
Yeah, I keep
Furion's
following.
Yep.
So Furion's
Yeah.
looking behind him every so often, keeping an eye out.
Okay. Furion, as you're in the back, you feel the cold wind from the air above kind of stretching down the length of the stairway and striking your back. It's kind of musty down here. It's dry and devoid of most natural air that has been blessing the outsides of this area. Even as evil the air it was above you, this is worse. It's stagnant. It feels in the back of your mind as though there's something here, like you're being watched.
I know it goes without saying, but really need to stay on alert. Something really just doesn't feel right. Not to mention, as he rubs his eyes briefly, there's still just an insane amount of remnants of you said alteration, right?
Correct.
Yes, alteration magic.
Zalgus, give me a Arcana check.
Will do.
DM,
Yes.
can is it self-evident to me that there is something very dangerous, or like is there an aura of dread that's obvious?
I was actually going to get to you in Faith in just a moment, actually.
Okay,
Sorry about that. I'm gonna clarify for you in a moment. As soon as Furion says that, Zalgus, you're harking back to some of your times and your days at the Magical College of Zidane. And alteration magic, which most of you should know, but you more than most, is usually used in forms of defensive barriers, wards, defending, sealing, typically. You're unsure what it could mean here, at least not with that, but that's what you remember, at least, of the magic. I will say, Clara and Faith, the hairs in the back of your necks are slick up. Your senses, both of you being a bit more reactive than the others in your party, you feel an immensely amount sense of talking is hard today. You feel an unending amount of dread. It feels like your feet want to carry you out of here as quickly as possible, but in your mind, you continue forward.
This place must be the source of it all. I feel it in my bones.
Well, now we're dealing with two different types of magic. We had the illusion magic that was connected to the statue, and now we've got arbitration magic, which that's spell seals, that's defenses. Now, what kind of defenses could this place have? I don't know, but I get what you're saying. I definitely got a bad feeling about this. But this all has to be connected with whatever's going on in the surface. And probably has something to do with Grost's connection here in this part of the island.
And the faster we get to the bottom of it, the faster we fix this.
You still need to proceed cautiously. And
Oh, that
also check for traps as usual.
that is definitely a given.
What are you all doing?
Following Briar and
Yeah, she's never stopped.
Okay. Then, Briar, as you continue forward, are you just going straight? You're bypassing some of the hall.
Yeah, she's going straight down. Where she's kind of feeling led.
Okay. As you begin to walk past some of the hallways, you see, as you kind of glance behind, your vision is still reduced in this tomb. You've discovered that your vision is about half as what you're typically used to, much like above. But you do see bits of cobble and rock boulders further down some of these hallways. Perhaps at one point or another, something collapsed further in and has left nothing but debris in its wake. You're not seeing any detection of any sort of furniture, peripherals, no chairs, tables. This was not meant to be a place of coziness or homeliness. This is stale. It's cold. It's bare. And it's creepy. But as you begin to move past, you begin to see off in the distance, you begin to pass by this wall. It begins to crumble a bit more and begins to end. You pass by the wall and you begin to see some knocked down pillars, all laid about in almost a circle-like fashion. As in the center, the apex of these 7 fallen pillars, you see what looks to be like an altar of sorts. It's a bed, almost. You see a very delicately placed purple linen draped over it, delicately.
This is down on the hallways or at the end of the stairs?
At the end of the stairs and down further towards the center of this tomb.
What else is around as I finish the stairs?
So the stairs is just tiled floors, marble-like walls. And as you continue forward, you see those knocked down pillars all in a circle-like pattern, like a sun almost. Like the altar is at the very center, and each wing of the sun are these knocked down pillars. But more
And
than
in the
that,
center of the pillars is the bed?
yes, the altar.
And there's nothing else in this room like it's otherwise closed off?
Otherwise, there's further hallways transcending past some of the pillars. You do see a few pillars kind of much like a centerpiece. They kind of layer down towards the center of this altar and stop as it, at the ends where the last one would fall. But there are other hallways, but they seemingly have no end, not that you can see via your vision.
Is there anything strange with the magic in this room? Any different?
It is so thick with alteration magic, it is impossible to tell. Not unless you want to get closer to look, of course.
Well,
Well,
not yet.
Briar's going to get to the edge of the fallen pillars, like creating a circle, and stop and wait for everyone else to catch up.
Okay. All of you keeping close as possible.
yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Okay, you two.
Yeah, I might as well.
All right. And as you all begin to catch up to Briar, who moved ahead in her haste to try to figure out what is actually transpiring in this area, you all begin to see it too. Firion, you were the first to notice, as well as Zalgus, as you have more magical background, that around that altar, where the centralistic to these fallen pillars lie, you see this slight, almost like a purple film, like maybe a dome around it. Both of you know, as soon as you see it, that this might be the source of the alteration magic, as it typically can form barriers.
The bed, you mean, our character?
Yes, an altar is like a bed.
Well, this might be it.
Oh, this screams. our current destination.
Briar's going to turn around and walk up to Clara. Can you just blow it up or something?
Clara scratches the back of her head while looking around nervously. I suppose I could try, but I don't have near as enough of the ingredients I need to make something as big as what we did on the statue.
I see. She just slowly turns around and looks back at the altar.
As you look at it, you find your vision going a little bit hazy. You feel as though you're drawn to it. As you find that you're begin walking a few steps, but you stop yourself, realizing that your body almost seems to be moving on its own. But you're unsure as to why.
Am I in full control of this information, or?
Yeah, you realize it. You stop yourself. It's just like maybe 2 steps, not even 2 feet, and you stop yourself. But it feels like you're being drawn into this.
As Briar slowly looks over her shoulder from Clara at the altar, she just slowly turns and takes 1, then 2 steps, then freezes and shakes her head and turns back to the rest of the...
Can I have all of you roll perception checks, please?
Oh wait, mine actually did go. Oh, that net 1 bar.
I'm right. I'm distracted.
Okay. Furion, Zalgus, Zakari, Clara. As you all begin to approach this room, you're the first to notice that these pillars, they're set up out in a circle, but on the exterior portion of these pillars, in a circular, spherical fashion, you begin to see rubble, almost perfectly lined in a perfect circle shape. This is well past the film-like dome around the altar itself. This is much wider, maybe from the altar, maybe about 30 to 40 feet in width from the actual altar itself. But it's perfectly cylinder where this rubble lies, almost as though something pushed it out and kept it right there. But it's no longer there's nothing there now to dictate what this may have been.
That is not good.
You see it too?
Oh, yeah, that definitely looks like something pushed all of these things.
Some kind of pulse.
I don't like what I'm looking at.
Briar, you hear the scratching sounds from the noises that you all are making, the conversation that you all are having. The voices bounce off the walls, and you hear the scratching kind of cease for a moment. But then you hear it off in the distance get more rampant, like more fever.
In which direction?
In 3 directions: to your left and to your right, down one of the further hallways.
Left and right down both hallways?
Yes, the room that you're in is a gigantic foyer in a sense. There's no hallway around where the altar is itself. About from the altar to the nearest room and hallway, it's probably about 50. But down in the crevices of those rooms and hallways, you hear the scratching.
She's gonna... Well, you said 2 are coming from one direction, right?
Yes.
Can I tell which 2 are coming from which way?
I will move you to the map for right now.
Oh, thank God.
The reason why I'm not on the map is I want everyone moving around freely. I want everyone to kind of roleplay.
Then just tell us that! I need visual!
I got it. Anyways, Briar, you hear it from down this direction, and over there.
Oh, so it's not just 2 ways, it's 3 ways.
There's a door over here, a hallway over here, a hallway over here, more hallways over here. hallway over here. There's a lot of different hallways and doors and crevices.
But one from like our direct left and behind us almost.
Yes.
Okay, well, as everyone is talking, she's gonna wander over there to the edge of the hallway. Am I allowed to? You can move me if you want.
Going back to one of the previous hallways.
The one you said there's sounds coming from this one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, she's just gonna slowly walk through the party and look down the hallway, try to listen better.
I'll move everyone to the map for now. Just nobody move unless you actually tell.
Oh, thank fuck.
Why you just moved me? Ray, that's mean.
Typically, yeah. So as Briar goes to check down one of the halls, give me a perception check.
11.
Okay. You kind of listen in. You can't pick up exactly where the scratching is coming from. You see that the rubble down below actually collects and it makes to a kind of a barricade. There's no way through here. There's no forward. The end of the map is the actual end of the room. All the rubble is just collected there. But you do see that there might be a 3-foot gap between the rubble and maybe a wall down in here.
A 3-foot gap, huh?
Yeah.
I could probably fit through a 3-foot gap.
Probably could. Probably lengthwise, too.
Almost, yeah. Well, as she sits here and listens, she's glancing back to the rest of the party to see what they're doing.
If you were some sort of powerful blast, what would have caused you to cause this much damage? And, make it even better, what caused you exactly before that damage was done?
If I had to guess, some sort of ritual. This is more demonic in a sense. I don't think typical magic does this or looks like this.
Oh, that's putting an understatement on that one. This is some very powerful shit. Especially whatever that is. Now, I'm not going to go into the ring itself because I don't want to avoid any issues with Laura.
Well, as soon as you turn towards its August, Briar's going to say something, if that's okay.
Okay.
She's looking back at everyone and she sees Zalgus talk and listens, and then he turns around and she calls out, Zalgus, do not look directly at it.
Why? Wait, what?
I don't know for sure, but remember how the statue made you feel when you touched it?
Oh, gee. Oh, don't tell me. Is this where he's tapping into?
I can't say anything for certain, but be careful, all of you.
Okay.
So, probably be best if, whenever we're looking around, we look exterior instead of interior. Got it.
Just try not to focus on the altar.
Will do. Hey, can you see anything down there?
Well, it's a dead end, but she walks over and slowly reaches forward, then stops. It's like 5 seconds, and then finishes and slowly reaches for Clara's hand if she lets.
She allows it questionably.
There's a very small gap at the end of the tunnel down. Do you think you could help me look at it?
Clara looks around the room nervously once more and says, "Well, if you think it'll help us, absolutely."
She nods to Clara, then looks to everyone else. Be very careful. I heard something down some of the hallways, but it could just be rats.
We've already had some interaction with rats. I don't even want to underestimate them anymore.
It was an unpleasant experience.
I need to light a torch. I really can't see anything. So she'll do that, DM.
Okay. You discover that the torch isn't putting out as much light as you would like. All manner of light in here has been diminished. But as you flick out the torch from your pack and you put the flint and steel upon it, it flares and begins to light up the room briefly as you have a bit more vision than before.
Well, that's weird.
I almost wonder what would happen if we directed an attack at that thing, at the barrier.
Well, I would not risk it, if anything. Though I would not be surprised if all of a sudden we wind up having our old buddy Grisat show up and slap us around the face with it.
Letting go of Clara's hand so she can light the torch, Briar walks down the rest of the hall.
I'll follow behind.
Okay. As the two of you get down to the end of the hallway where the rubble begins to collect, you kind of sidle alongside each other and kind of dip your heads down so you can see down the length of the actual hallway itself. It appears to be a whole grouping of cobble that has been collected and perhaps maybe placed here long ago. You do see off the ends that these are actually two separate rooms, or maybe even one room, as you do see two sets of broad doors that are presently closed. There's cobble kind of collected against it.
Does it look like we both can fit down this little alleyway?
With some work, yeah, perhaps. I should also note that the little triangles in the map is considered rough terrain.
Okay. Well, if she can fit, Briar's gonna try to make herself very thin and small and try to shimmy along the side. Thinking that she can fit, Claire can probably fit too.
If you're both wanting to do that, give me acrobatics checks, please.
Good thing Briar is skinny and small. Small. Oh god. Never mind, I take it all back.
I got really fat suddenly.
Okay. As you both try to shimmy, Briar first, your backpack's a bit too weighty after all the looting you all have done in previous instances, and you try to get yourself through. You're not sure if it's the backpack or maybe some weight you might have put on, but you cannot fit.
Wow.
Called out.
Wow. Well, after she fails to kind of force her tiny body in, she will slowly slip the backpack off and just toss it down the hallway towards the party.
Wrong one, sorry.
As Clara begins to make her way and kind of ducking underneath Briar, as you, Clara, manage to etch your way through.
Wait, she's going first? Clara, don't go first!
As if she doesn't want to. But she could fit.
We have no choice, don't we? We need to get to the bottom of this, and the longer we stay down here, the worse it is for all of us.
Yes, but wait for me.
I'm not against waiting.
Well, after disposing of her backpack, just tossing it to the ground, very uncaringly, she has her necklace still in her pocket, otherwise she's going to attempt to shimmy again.
Is your mace also on you and your crossbow?
Her mace is not. Or, no, her mace is on her, her crossbow's not. If the mace is a problem, she would take it off too, but she doesn't think of that unless it is a problem.
Yeah, unfortunately that's a problem as well.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay, well, as she tries to shimmy her way in again, the mace like bangs along the side of the wall as you hear like a small, understandable word, like a curse. She unclasps the mace and puts it on the ground as well.
Why don't you hand it to me? Clara declares.
It's not necessarily that it's Briar in the mace, it's the mace itself. It's too long, too thick, it's clattering against the wall, making it unnecessary.
Giggity.
I like where this is going.
All of you.
It's all right, Clara. I don't rely on it too much, to be honest. As she slowly puts the metal mace on the ground.
Clara gives a nod.
After like slowly looking at herself, inspecting if there's anything else that will inhibit her at all, she tries to shimmy through again.
Give me another acrobatics check. Don't fucking fail this time.
19.
That's better. With alleviating both the weight and the burden of your important gear, and you manage to, alongside Clara, shimmy down into the actual hallway.
Do I manage to shimmy ahead of her?
I would say that you went in first.
Okay, because she would want to be first if possible.
If she's physically able to with that roll, then please.
Yep, very much so.
Well, keeping her hands on the wall and like slowly moving along, she'll just press forward.
Okay. As you slowly make your way through the actual room, both of you begin to reach what looks to be the first of two broad doors. They are shut tight. They have dents and bruises on them from some of the rubble being pushed up against it for however long period of time. Briar and Clara, you both hear the faint scratching sounds.
Cat.
I know, she's fucking going crazy.
Nadia, take him out. Take him out.
You hear the scratching sounds heavy against the actual boards of the door from the other side. This seems to be one of the sources of one of the sets of noises.
Walking to the door, she's going to slowly press her ear to the door and listen.
Yeah, you push your ear to the door. It seems to be quite thick. You don't really get much in the way of further investigative from the actual.
Do you hear that as well, Clara?
Do I, Ray?
Yeah, I said both of you do.
Okay, sorry. I do. I don't want to think about what that could be.
Is there a door handle?
No.
How does it look like the door opens, and if it does open?
It looks like perhaps it was made to push outwards to where you are.
I wonder if there's any way we could open the door. Do you have any thoughts?
Well, I can try using my wrench to vice the frame off the hinges.
All right, give it a try. Where exactly is the doorway? Is it this thing, right?
No, it's right. It's right here and right here. You are a little bit
okay.
on top of it.
Then Briar's going to go like past it a little bit to give Clara more access.
Well, Ray, I'd like to put my wrench into a position where it's acting like a crowbar. Unless this is like a very tightly sealed door, I'd like to.
It's pretty tightly sealed, but you can definitely try. Give me an athletics check.
All right, is this to insert? Oh my God! Is
Yeah.
this to put the wrench in? Okay.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Jason, slide in.
Oh my God.
I'm just gonna walk into this freaking force field.
Spits on both the palms of my hands.
Oh my God.
All right, you said what was the roll again? Athletics.
Athletics. Yes.
Yeah.
As you try
Well,
to,
can I help? Like, she's there helping.
you can attempt to. Yeah. Go ahead and roll. notes. Briar's trying to help you.
Just roll. All right, roll again.
Just rolled again.
If Clara asks her to do anything, oh my god.
Oh wow.
We're useless!
As you're both trying to jam the wrench between the cracks of the door to try to use it as a levy to try to pull it apart. You're not sure if it's the amount of space you have between you, the door, and the wall itself, but you're unable to get the wrench in there enough to, pry it open.
Is this door locked?
Well, you can check.
How do I check?
Well, there is no door knob, but there is actual locks on.
Can I lean in and try to see if I can see a lock mechanism anywhere?
Give me an investigation check.
I assist her.
Can't assist with that, unfortunately.
And with
3.
investigating.
Is it just a door? Do I know nothing else?
Yeah, you're not sure if it's locked or if the locks are actually active or they're broken. You're not.
Okay, well, after failing that or not being able to tell, she just looks back to Claire. This may be a long shot, but take a small step back.
Clara nods and does so.
Making sure both of us are out of the way if the door did swing open. I don't know if we're okay where we are now or if we have to move a bit more, but...
I mean, you're both fine. I mean, it's just a
if the door magically swung open, are we okay not to get hit, is what I'm asking.
Probably need to move back.
I think I'm probably safe now. Claire's probably not, though. Once Claire gets out of... Well, go the other way, Claire. That's too far.
It doesn't matter. What are you doing?
Oh my god! Okay, I'm going to attempt to cast Thaumaturgy to make the door swing open. If it's unlocked, which it would if it's unlocked.
Give me an Arcana check. With disadvantage.
Like we need it. We're natural 1 rollers.
As you try to muster in your divine strength, and the power bestowed upon by your god, whoever that might be, you then thrust your hands forward towards the door and begins to rattle and shake. And you even see some of the rubble on the very bottoms of it begin to shake and rupture. But then,
do I get the sense that it should have worked, but something magical is preventing it from happening? Or that it was locked?
you're unsure.
Well, something happened, but I'm not sure what.
Well, you did what you could. I guess our only choice is to find another way or keep investigating.
Now I wish I did have my mace, because if nothing else... She cracks one of her knuckles.
It is made of stone, so keep that in mind.
My mace is made of metal.
Okay.
Wait, the door's made of stone, you said?
Yeah, it is. Everything in here is made of stone and or marble of some sort.
Let's continue on. We can double back for this if we need to.
Good idea.
Okay, while you all continue on, what are the rest of you all doing over there by the barrier?
If no one has sent anything, Zakar will actually put his back to the wall, directly north of him, and attempt to commune with his patron.
Oh. What are you saying?
I will text you that.
Okay.
Well, I was gonna say Furin was gonna do. Well, nah, he thought about it, but he's already. Never mind. Furin's trying really hard not to just try to Eldritch Blast that thing over there. He's basically has his. We came from this direction, right?
Yes.
He basically has his back to the room over here and is facing the way we came to keep a lookout.
Okay.
If you hear Briar's voice in your head, shoot it. Shoot the blast.
Are you saying that this is the position you are now?
Yes.
Okay. Salgus, Faith?
I'm going to go ahead and look around the room, trying to keep away from the energy dome, but I'm going to make my way and see if there's any signs of any other life or recent activity.
Okay. So you're like either a perception or an investigation check, depending on what is you're looking and wanting to, what kind of results you're wanting to get.
I want to investigate to see if there's been any other recent activity other than our happy chuckle selves showing.
Okay. Give me an investigation check.
.23.
Okay. As you kind of like glance down towards the ground, look for any elements of footsteps, any disturbances in the dust, looking around for any kind of plant life. There's not a strip of moss, there's no weeds, there's no elements of trails or tracks. The whole place seems to be very barren, as though untouched for at least 100, maybe 200 more, perhaps, years.
Wow. Okay, so would you guys like the mellow, boring news or the extremely mellow, boring news?
What's that?
Well, I can safely assure us that at the moment, apparently, based on the state of everything, we may be the first living things that have been in here since, well, at least a century.
And how are you so sure of that?
Well, no sign of greenery or moss. That means if this were built over something, there'd be the occasional bit of plant life, even fungi apparently molding over and doing their thing, but nothing like that's going on. More than likely, the whole timeline for whenever the statues start doing its thing may have been why there has been any sign of life in here. I'm only doing that to make sure we don't get ourselves jumped by something in this place. Mind you, that includes other living, well, what I could think to say being living beings. No signs of rats or anything like that. It's like this thing were pristine. That's what's kind of worrisome.
Sorry, Alex. Did Esper or I think it was Clara who also heard the scratches. Did they ever mention hearing them? Or thinking about it out loud?
Briar did, yes.
I did.
Okay,
I said
okay.
rats.
Okay, right. Well, if that's the case, then what did Briar hear?
That's what's got me worried. Because I'm asking myself that exact same question.
There was moss on the outside of the statue, and you said you saw there's insects and things going inside of it.
But there was also something else about the statue that you had noted. Illusion magic.
True. What are we saying, that the moss itself was an illusion? The bugs?
You know, that could be a question. For all we know, it could have also been something that, as a filtered, messed our perceptions about things going on. Either way, this might be a 2-in-1 thing. That, as I point towards the center without looking at it, might be the, well, that may be the energies that are doing everything, with the statue being a focal point, but also a sort of protective cover. Now, the sort of thing a god puts in there to go, I am watching you at all times. Ooh.
Faith, what are you doing during all of this?
Relatively nothing. Just kind of glancing around, trying not to touch anything and fuck something up.
You feel something in the back of you recall several bits of advice your master has given you over the course of the years. This one, however, was one of the first pieces of advice he gave. Always be on your guard, and if something hits you, make sure you hit it back. Now, the second part, you're not exactly sure how it pertains to the situation that you're in, but the first part, always being on guard, gives you cause for concern. It's been almost strangely quiet in here. You realize that throughout everything, all the clues, all the points have been leading you down here for something that seems to be almost immediately anticlimactic to the notion of getting here in the first place. And despite all your training and everything in you telling you that maybe this isn't even worth it, maybe this is too dangerous to continue on, you feel as everything seemed more centralistic to something. You recall that Bingen and Loda had mentioned that the entity they worship is Lathandir. Now, aside from your experience with Jura in the village of Brownleaf, you know that Lathandir is one of the three gods that most monks of your order tend to worship. They are Lathandir being the god of the sun, in a sense. But there's no sun here. There hasn't been sun here for a long time, according to the two half-elves upstairs. So it's been plaguing the back of your mind. Why do they worship this entity when they're so devoid? Anyways, what are you guys doing?
How long has it been since they, like, minutes?
They've been searching for about 5 minutes, so they've been gone for about 5 minutes. That's much like you all been looking around investigating for about 5 minutes.
I'm not gonna lie. I get the importance of not looking at that altar, but something about all this is just giving me the willies.
Sure, I can't just throw something at it at this point.
Do it.
I mean, hell, is it terrible that I'm almost half tempted just to fire a ray of frost, even though I know that'd probably be a bad thing at it?
Well, my Eldritch Blast has quite a far range. But
So's my ray.
I don't want to do something that'd wind up getting us trapped down here.
That too.
Assuming it's not already possible that we could be trapped down here, as he, again, squints into the darkness from the way we came.
As much as it concerns me, we should best ignore that circle for now. This place is pretty big, and until the others come back, we should focus on exploring all that we.
Yeah, but if there was a way to get rid of that thing, it'd be a lot easier for me to actually see any other sources of magic around here.
Well, let's just stay by this door and just be ready. If anybody can, try to at least try to keep eyes on any other access way. And I look over to the door that's across the way from where we're at on the left, going west on the map, and just check to see if there's any sign of movement or life or activity.
Give me a perception check. As you glance across the room, across the almost spherical-like dust and rubble emanating this unknown entity before you, you see the collapsed door. Perhaps it wasn't a door one time. Maybe it was a wall that has since been... You don't see anything beyond it. It looks to be an empty room as far as you can... I'm not sure how far it goes like inside, but you don't see anything.
Well, we do have one potential empty room that we could investigate at some point. As I point to the very room I just investigated over here.
Then that'll be our first stop. Hopefully Briar and Clara aren't gone too long.
I hope so too.
Are we sure we should go too far apart?
Okay. Briar and Clara, as you fail to open up the first door, what are you all doing?
Do you see anything worth investigating further ahead, or do you think maybe we should head back?
I intend to explore this until it ends. But does this look like another door to you? She reaches out and touches what's her right.
What can I discern from it?
Roll investigation check. Okay. As you begin to kind of put your hand against it, it's cold to the touch, like everything else in this void tomb. You kind of feel around, and in the darkness, as you're holding on to your torch with the other hand, begin to kind of follow the grooves as you find what looks to be a straight line going down, a very gigantic groove. It appears to be another door. There, in this one, you do see what looks to be grooves to where it might be like a door handle, like a man-made insert where your hands can find.
Clara sees that though, not me, right?
Yes.
Well, it seems to be another door, and look here. Seems like someone installed a handle for us. Mighty convenient of them.
Do you think you can open it?
I don't know. I'll give it a try as she grabs it firmly.
Give me an
and
athletics
open it.
check.
Can I assist?
Yes. So athletics with advantage. Okay. As you begin to pull, and Briar and you both kind of like use your weight and your leverage and pushing your legs against the exterior rubbled wall, you begin to pull with all your force, but it does not give. The handle does not open. The door remains shut. As you're doing that, however, Briar, you hear more feverish scratching, loud, almost like nails on a chalkboard, like.
Does Clara? Well, Clara, do you hear that as well?
Do I?
Yes, you do.
Yeah. Can we tell where it's coming from?
From beyond that door.
I think it's best we leave this door alone.
Perhaps, but my worry is if they break out, what exactly is it, and it'll surprise us later.
I don't know. But if I have to guess, what we should be doing is finding a way to destroy that source of whatever it is you looked at back in the main room.
I suppose we should just continue on for now and bring this up when we're back.
Yes, let's not keep them waiting too long, right? Please, after you.
Well, she's going to head forward more.
Both you sidle along the wall. You get stuck a few times. You find that your legs kind of bend and bow certain ways, but you manage to help each other and get through the elements of the very thin, narrow entrance of this hallway as you do eventually make your way out. Before you see another kind of short hallway leading to that room where the purple light is coming from, as it's broad and vivacious as you look forward. Past that actual hallway, you see another looks to be a collapsed wall into another looks to be an expanse of a small.
Do you think we should explore, Clara, or should we head right back?
Only until there's a sign of danger. But we need to try to get our bearings here and figure out what we need to do to deal with this situation.
Well, moving up a bit so she can come up, she points towards the rubble. I think that's the circle of rubble around that object, so this connected to the other room.
Well, at least we figured out where that scratching's coming from.
We didn't find out much else, though.
Better than when we came in.
Bar's gonna try to stick her head through this little opening to see what's past this little opening.
As you look inside and gander in, a bunch of rubble from looks to be a capsized wall. It's being to be blocking the other way past it, but it's an empty room. Nothing in there.
Just an empty room here.
Well, I guess we'll just go back and tell the guys what we found. A door that can't be opened and has something probably unpleasant on the other side.
Yes, let's go back.
As both of you make your way through that small hall, you spot the others, seemingly
Well, that's cute. Hold on, I'm gonna get it back.
By some way. Well, I'm sure you all know we need to hurry along with this problem solving with that thing where it is.
Well, as long as you haven't run into, we should make our way to the other rooms. As he points across the way to that room over.
In that case, that means everyone stare at this wall or at least don't stare at the altar. Should we go ahead and make our way, or do you want somebody else to go through and try to open that door?
If there's something trapped on the other side of that, I'm not sure we want it opened.
From what I can tell, she takes a few steps forward and points towards the wall here. The door was about this distance in, straight down the hallway. It would be perhaps lined up with this.
As Clara looks around the room, she addresses Faith. So, what do you think of this mess? Anything like this you've seen in your travels?
Sorry about this. Everything just keeps fucking up. I'm trying to get everything back together.
Outside.
Yeah, no problem. I'll be back myself in a second. BRB.
Larger, taking a 2-minute break while you get stuff set up. It's cat outside.
I don't know what the fuck is going on right now. Everything just keeps fucking crashing. I might have to go ahead and restart everything.
It might be an internet problem.
Well, Chrome itself keeps crashing. Discord's crashed twice now. And the integrated die roll channel that I have set in XSplit is not updating either. And I'm not sure why. So everything is literally falling apart at the seams.
Yeah, I would restart your router. It sounds like a network issue. Because if it was one program, I would say it'd be the program. But if it's everything Chrome, everything based off your network, it's so either refresh your IP or restart your router probably. I got no idea. Not a big deal though.
Well, it kind of is, but
Stream is not exactly mandatory. So I mean, if anything else, we'll just work without it. Anyway, I'm gonna cut outside. I'll be right back.